Wait.
What's up, everybody?
Hello,
Hey, what's
Facebook.
going on?
What's
Hello,
going
Instagram.
Drop us a comment, drop us a wave. Let us know if you guys are on.
All right. So,
Na-na-na-na-na. Who are you gonna call? Miss Buster.
Oh.
It's the bustiest of them all.
oh my God.
Miss Busters.
So-
Do. Okay.
There's a couple of issues here.
Wait.
One, we don't have room for him. Two,
We
his costume
totally-
makes noise. And three, he can't drink his margarita like that.
Well,
so,
yeah.
Anyway,
Someone explain the issue.
Okay.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
think-
First,
I
cheers.
feel like this is an improvement over the
Cheers.
normal look. So
Happy
cheers.
Margarita Monday.
all right.
Okay.
I feel like we need to. I'll
Hi,
post.
Michelle.
I'm gonna post after a.
Hi,
Picture
George.
of-
Hi, George.
I think we should just note Alana's glass before we start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, this is what happens
if-
when we start at
right.
7:30.
if
So we
you
have-
have to get cut off again, Alana, okay,
Don't
don't-
threaten me with a good time.
don't blame the rest of us.
So we have a lot of time is really the issue.
Yeah.
But guys, let's quickly. Hey, Pam. Hey, Chris. Love seeing everybody on. So real
let's just
quick,
shift a little because Insta.
where are we
Where do you want to
shifting?
shift?
This
That's
way?
better.
I
Okay.
feel like you should just part the seat so people can get the full scope of my costume.
Hey,
Yeah.
Beth.
All right, let's just
How
hang
are
on,
you?
hang on.
Oh, there.
I think-
Look at that
yeah.
body. Girl, look at that body.
Okay.
Girl,
you're
like-
gonna get
okay.
cut off.
Okay. So,
She's already cut off.
Yeah, we're gonna cut you off.
so
before we
you
start.
guys may not recognize us because we're in our Mythbuster mode. So just real quick, we've got Just in Time, the Myth Smasher. We've got Kim, the Truth
Do I
Tracker.
have to kick?
Have you seen her radar? It is spot on, ladies
Don't
and
pull your
gentlemen.
hamstring.
I was gonna say we don't have any more room in our schedule.
You've got John, the Myth Maverick.
Hi,
Oh,
Mom.
baby.
Hi, Beth.
And you've got me, Ilana, the Debunker.
All right. So before we go any further, I think we should do is
Okay.
I think we should challenge everybody to comment below. Okay.
With
how much snow they think we're gonna get tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
All right.
Okay.
So I will
Okay.
start off the betting at 2 inches.
That's what I was gonna
$1. $1.
I think
That's why I started.
I think that's going to be a popular
say.
answer.
2.1
I'm-
inches.
I'm
Right, but
actually-
anybody who copies my answer is
Yeah.
copying. So you'll be original.
Got it.
I'm going with 3 inches.
3 inches.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to
I'm going
play.
with 3.
2 inches.
12
to 1 cent.
inches. Who's guessing 12 on Insta over there? I can't really see the names. Sorry, it's hard. 8 to 12 we're getting from George.
That's
Chris,
Venus. Hi, Venus.
Chris is saying 5.5. 8 to
Mm.
12. He's hoping.
You
Okay.
guys haven't read the latest forecast.
That's about weather.
I don't know.
I know this thing's going.
So-
yeah,
It's going south.
It's going south.
I
Quick.
also, I hope nobody knows her, but I was commenting to Vanessa the other day on Facebook. I saw somebody local who said, "I'm a local, meteorologist, and I'm going to be doing this for fun. Follow my page." And in my head, I was like, "Does she not know about Hudson Valley weather? Like, that's a tough gig
Yeah.
to get into now."
Hi,
Right.
Becky.
This is true.
Hey, Pam Chai. Okay, so,
All right.
but we're not here to do a weather
No, no.
report.
All right.
We are the Mythbusters.
So I actually don't know what we're here to do because
Right.
so Alana
Mhm.
has punished
That's
me.
right. I'm rebelling.
I'm no longer allowed to have an agenda. I get a sticky note.
It's
That's
not
what
that
I
you're
got.
not allowed. It's just a waste of paper.
Wait, we all
It's
got
clearly
sticky
a
notes.
waste.
Right,
Yeah,
but
everybody got
normally
sticky notes.
I get an agenda.
So listen, here's what I'm going to cover.
Okay.
Why are we talking about this topic? I think in the store we get a lot of questions that tend to be tied to a lot of running myths. John and Justin, I'm sure a lot of your patients come in and say some of these myths to your face, really believing them.
They do.
So
We
we
make fun
really
of them.
Hard to keep a straight face.
right, a little bit hard. So we want to, as we're heading into springtime, we've got our spring training programs kicking off. The half marathon spring training program is open for registration. So if you haven't signed up, do it.
Hey,
5K
where could they find the link to that, Alana?
online. We should drop that link in here.
Yes.
Yeah, we should. Okay.
Is that on the agenda?
Yeah, totally.
Is there a
And
sticky
our
note for it?
yeah. You all can just okay. And then
John pisses
We
you
can
off,
what,
you
Alana?
pop
We
him.
can what? We can what?
I know he's like rubbing his like,
I don't.
this is hilarious.
So the thing also, I don't know if everyone can hear this at home, but the costume like hums or whatever.
Yeah, I'm about to ask if I can turn it off or not.
It's actually
It's
like
fabulous.
really, it's like, it's
It's fabulous.
really
I
annoying.
ran a 5K in this a few years ago.
Yeah.
So,
It's really annoying.
Okay, so our goal is to try to cover 4 myths tonight. Before we get started, I wanted to ask my co-mythbusters, do you guys know where superheroes live?
Bat cave?
Cape Town.
I was so close.
Oh. Okay, let's get into myth numero uno, shall we?
Oh, we have a customer.
All right.
Okay, the first myth we want to talk about: running is bad for your knees.
Mm.
Justin, go.
Okay, this was not the one that,
That
was
was
on my.
not his.
No,
Not on my
I'm the
sticky-
one bringing it up.
Right, but
Go.
you're,
But that's
You-
not the
you
sticky
know,
note.
talk about it.
No.
I will talk about it. That's fine.
Oh my
but
God.
the sticky note that I was
I
giving.
understood. I didn't even have an agenda.
See,
and
she
I
didn't have an agenda and she understood. I'm bringing.
No.
No.
Did you read the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, so
Okay.
I bring up the first myth.
Oh, I see. What
And
you're
then we discuss it.
Okay.
And then you bring up the second myth and we discuss it.
Oh, I
And then
thought.
I
All
think I'm three.
All right, my bad.
Yes, you're number
Communication.
three.
Yeah.
I was.
I
with
thought it
Justin
was.
there.
Yeah, I thought it meant that that's the one you were going to talk about like alone. And
No,
then-
no. So
no,
we're-
I'm just here to drink.
We're just
tonight.
here to drink. You
But
guys
we're
are
doing
actually
doc-
busting the
okay.
To
myth.
be fair, when we were going
Right.
over this, Ilana also got a
So-
glass of wine that was about the size of her hand. So
You guys,
you can
I
see why-
sincerely apologize. This is so
All right.
unprofessional.
Here we
Justin,
go. All right.
myth
So-
number one: running is bad for your knees.
All right. So
This is
you
so-
hear this a lot. People talk about it, right? That,
Yeah.
oh, my friend says I should stop running, or running's going to kill my knees, or I'm going to have a lot of knee pain later on. And yes, Kelly, we're super well organized. Thank you very much. And so,
I'm gonna drop you with the next ride.
so
Okay,
All right,
knees,
so-
knees,
Right.
focus.
So the thing is that they've done a ton of research on this, okay? And there is nothing that shows anything to do with running being bad for your knees. In fact, it's actually good for your knees, okay?
Good.
Because what they've actually
drink to
found is
that.
that the repetitive impact, okay, and loading actually helps to build up your cartilage, right? And so we talk about this idea that you can pretty much make any tissue in your body stronger by applying force to it. And so you're making the cartilage stronger. It actually becomes more hydrated and healthier long term. So running is actually good for your knees. And so despite the unprepared nature of this, we killed it.
Yeah.
Myth busted.
Right.
So what do
Yeah.
people mean when they say
Yeah.
like I ran for so many years and I killed my knees?
Yeah,
It's
like
probably more. Well, that kind of goes to the myth that I'm.
I was gonna
bring
say
up
that
towards
might
the
be a
end,
different
Yeah.
myth, right?
which will tie in. But also, there are a lot of genetic factors that go along
I was
with
gonna say
it.
it's all
So
genes.
A lot of arthritis is due not to activity, the mechanical stress, but a genetic breakdown that your cells are already programmed to. But
Yeah.
the
Most of the arthritis that you're seeing people have is genetic,
Right.
and you can only do so much to change your genes, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
you can't pick your parents.
Right.
and
My
so-
mom's on, so we're gonna
hey,
Right. and so-
cheers to
We're
it.
gonna- we're gonna tread lightly there.
Kim's not going to comment. But so the big thing is that you don't want, like, just because people are saying like, oh, you got to watch out for this, running's going to kill your knees, all these things. In reality, running is very good for you.
Right.
Well, like any activity, if you do it incorrectly, you're gonna have adverse effects.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, and I would also argue that running is better than a sedentary lifestyle where you're spending
100%.
a lot of time sitting. That's actually going to be worse for your knees.
Yeah.
So every major joint in your body is filled with fluid, just like oil in your car engine. Your knee is your largest joint in the body by surface area, and it's got this thick, viscous fluid to help lubricate it. If you just sit and are very sedentary, you're actually not going to stimulate that fluid, and it's actually going to get, I mean, for lack of a better word, stale.
Mhm.
So repetitive motion actually signals your body to like absorb the old fluid cells and release new ones to keep it well hydrated. So it's just another thing to support the fact that you need to keep your body moving, and your knee is the largest joint. So
Nobody likes a stale joint, guys.
your knee is about as big as my costume.
Right.
Wow.
And the fan is still going.
Yeah,
right
it
here,
is
the
so
fan is still going.
in case anyone was wondering.
The other thing that we want people to drop comments in is we're just going to be covering 4 myths. There's definitely a lot more, so we'll be back with more. But drop us a comment. Let us know some of the myths or what you think might be a myth and that you want us to explore on upcoming Mythbusters, because, you know, we're a team. We're going to come back and
And
do
then
this.
Alana can tell you guys which ones you're allowed to talk about.
So
Yeah.
now that I understand the
Okay.
agenda,
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
bring up the next one, right?
Justin, tell us more.
Exactly.
So the second myth that we want to talk about is that you must stretch before and after you run, and that stretching is key to your health.
How do you stretch in a costume like that, John?
If you just spread aside, you can see. Nailed it.
Nice.
All
Very
right,
nice.
So I think stretching, I would get like a tie between stretching and foam rolling, but those are probably the things that I tell people the most to stop doing, or just hey, if you have a limited amount of time, that's the first place to gain some time back in your day.
Right.
Mm.
And we always say, like, if it works for you, and right, like if you feel that stretching is the end all be all for you, by all means, carry on.
Right.
I guess. If you really
Bet.
want to.
Yeah, don't worry, not true, Becky.
Not
So if we think about it, right, John, do you remember the exact number? How much force does it take to actually stretch a muscle?
To deform tissues like 1,100 pounds or something.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to. Yeah,
to
exactly.
deform it a few millimeters, I think.
So
and that was also your IT band, which is one of the muscles or areas. It's a tendon, but a lot of runners talk about. They say, I need to stretch my IT band.
right,
And
or right, I'm going to stretch my glute. I think it was like 2,500 pounds you needed in order to stretch your glute tendon. And so in reality, if we look at all this, right, when people say that they're stretching, maybe we should explain what they're actually doing.
Right.
Mm.
All right, go for
Do
it.
it?
Yeah.
So when you stretch and foam roll, what you're actually doing is the reason it feels better after you do it is because you're temporarily numbing down the nervous system. That's all stretching and foam rolling and all those other type of like surface modalities do, is you're actually just numbing the area temporarily. Your nerve endings will kind of quiet down. That's kind of why it feels so good when you whack your funny bone or your shin on a coffee table. The first thing you do, aside from curse, is you rub it to make it feel better. You're actually exciting other mechanical receptors in your body, and so your nerve endings kind of like get overridden a little bit, and you get a temporary relief in pain. So it just feels better. It's no different than putting icy hot on something.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I mean, I tell everybody pain is public enemy number one. So anything you can do to get rid of discomfort is great. But going back to what Justin said, if you're really strapped for time, then you really need to be looking at things that are going to have a massive return on investment. Or at least you don't have to worry and stress yourself out about like, oh, I didn't get to do my stretching or this beforehand, so I know that's what killed me. And it's like, well, hang on, time out. Let's take a step back.
Right. The other thing is to know that your tendons really dislike compressive load, right? And so if you compress a tendon, okay, it doesn't really like load. Now, like Ilana's straw, if I compress the straw,
I can't drink anymore.
right, I dramatically decrease
Bummer.
its ability to function,
Mhm.
right? And so when you
Mm.
stretch a tendon, that was well timed.
I mean, that's
I'm
a
playing.
stretch of an analogy.
You're
welcome.
Pun intended.
Hey, man.
So if you stretch a
Stretch a
tendon
tendon.
over a joint and you're creating this compressive load, you're actually irritating it more.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of doing the opposite of what you're looking for. And so if you're looking to gain back some time, or maybe you have a little bit of irritation in a tendon, like if you have some sort of like Achilles tendinopathy or something like that, stretching is prolonging the
Yeah.
problem. You're not doing anything to help it. Did you turn the fan off?
I did turn the
Oh,
It just
right.
got, like,
Okay.
it-
Not all
Oh,
going down.
yeah.
my life just improved like
Yeah.
times 5.
So that's what like
Yeah.
the take
That
on
was
stretching.
crazy.
We could talk
Yeah.
for days about
Yeah.
why
You can
there's
tell.
not a huge benefit in stretching.
Yeah.
But they have done a lot of research on the most effective thing that you can do before and after you run.
Which is
And the
Drinking
answer is
margaritas.
No.
Okay.
uh,
Not the
walking.
answer.
Your time will come.
walking. I love that
Yes.
answer.
Walking.
So if you walk for 10 minutes before and 5 minutes after you run, that is the most effective thing you can do.
Mm.
But just
to
to be
prepare
clear,
your
we're
tissue for
making
load.
it even for the training groups.
It's gonna be 5 and 5. So
Right.
just to
Because
be
some
clear.
people didn't attend all their
Yeah.
math classes.
We're not.
You know, 2 + 2 is always 5 in my book.
I
so-
never miss
Uh,
that.
Okay, before we go to the next myth, real quick, do you guys know what Tony Stark's form of humor is?
Iron something.
Irony.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. All right. No, give me back my drink.
Hey,
All right.
I've got one.
What?
Let's hear it.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. What?
You have
Gotta
a
surprise
joke?
you guys. Yeah.
Nice. I
Okay.
like this.
What's got 5 toes and isn't your foot?
Your hand? No, that doesn't have toes.
What?
Well done.
My foot.
Wait, what?
You don't get that?
Hey-o.
What? Oh, she doesn't want to. Okay.
Never
Okay.
mind.
Kim, the truth tracker, is
Your
ready.
mom gets it, Pam, so that's all that
I
matters.
get it. That was
Oh,
good.
I've been waiting 2 weeks to drop that for y'all.
All right. So wait, we
Okay.
have some questions. Hang on.
Okay,
hang on.
okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
How many
so-
minutes more or less should we stretch before a run?
all right. So the answer is really
Don't.
0.
Right.
Right? If you're looking to just follow the science and be most effective, it's
Walk before
walk
you're
before
running.
you run, and then walk after you.
I like that. Walk before you run. That's like,
Get it?
Yeah.
Curl, then walk.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I like
All
it.
right, good.
Okay.
And this is, I mean, I know we're going to upset a lot of people talking about stretching. For some people, it's very necessary. You look at dancers, gymnasts, if your job, or even like a hurdler, right? If your job is to be very flexible, yes, you need to spend time increasing your muscles length. But for the lion's share of us, you're not going to get the return on investment that you need out of it.
well, and actually, too much flexibility in a runner is
Yeah,
a bad thing in a
definitely.
lot of cases.
Because
yeah.
most of us are.
That leads to
strength training
injury.
anyway.
Yeah, right.
So,
Exactly.
Running is a mid-range activity, and so you have no need to be at an in range.
correct.
exactly.
Right.
Yep.
My mind has been blown, but let's tackle another myth. Kim, what do you have for
So
us?
I'm off with my sticky note. So for myth number 3, we believe that a lot of runners seem to think that running is the only thing that they need to do for fitness. And I feel a little bit personally attacked by this myth because
I don't know
why
how
did
it
I
got
pick
assigned to
this
you.
one anyway.
It was totally random.
It was
Yeah,
random,
right.
right? So I think this one is about strength training, guys.
Not only strength training, right?
Yeah.
But so
Other things.
Cycling,
people will
walking,
say all the time,
Right.
like,
yeah.
oh, I don't do like squats or do leg strength training
Because I do
run,
run. Yeah.
right? Because I run. Or they'll say like, oh, like I don't do other forms of cardio, or they kind of look down upon going for a walk
Right.
because they run.
If they're going to go out and do something, they want to just run.
Yep.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. And so, John, go ahead. You take this away in your deflated costume.
Yeah.
This thing looks way worse.
Unlike my ego.
It just looks sad.
Look, his muscles are
So
all
at
gone.
the end of my race season, this
Yeah.
is the end result. Beginning of the race season, end of the race season. So, yes, just because your legs are sore and tired after you run doesn't mean your legs got a strength workout.
Right.
So,
I learned this the hard way.
Take
Yeah.
a look at the classic. I mean, your marathoner does not look like you were a sprinter. Muscle masses, body morphs are going to be completely different. So running is really good at making you cardiovascularly efficient. All you're doing is improving your body's ability to deliver oxygen and blood to your muscles in your legs. But in order to get stronger, you actually need to lift and resistance train. So if you want your biceps to get bigger, you can't take a 1-pound dumbbell and expect to get sizable change results out of it. So you actually need to stress your muscles to a certain point in order to stimulate a breakdown, and then your body will actually build them back, bigger, faster, stronger, whatever, benefits you want to get out of it. So running alone does not strengthen your legs to the point where you can improve their capacity for resistance, so to speak. You need to do that with weights, squats, step ups, lunges, things like that. Those are the bread and butter for some leg things, especially your knee. There's no mystery to it. It bends and straightens in one direction.
Right.
Get into your hips a little bit. And here's another one that you might not like. It's really all about your knee and your ankle when it comes to running. A lot of people talk about the glutes. I don't want to hear glute amnesia or my glutes not firing anymore.
My
really
glutes
Sleepy
be
glutes,
firing.
creepy glutes.
I don't feel. Is that a thing?
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's
Glute
It's
mania.
not actually a thing, but it's a myth.
Yeah, yeah,
It's another
Oh.
myth. Yeah.
so yeah.
But
back,
so
somebody else is it.
I think while we have a soapbox, we might as well climb on it.
Yeah.
So the other thing to think about though is when we talk about running being enough for your overall fitness, right? So when you age, right, you start to lose muscle mass, okay,
Mhm.
after you pass the age of 30.
Oh, I thought it was 40.
Oh, well, thank God I'm
30.
25.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't have
Here.
a thing to worry about.
So here's the thing. If you're not doing something to prevent that muscle mass from decreasing, right? Okay, then your health is essentially declining.
Yep.
Right? And this is, I don't remember these statistics exactly, but I think it's like 3 to 5% that
A
you
year
lose
or something.
a year.
Right.
Mm.
And I think also there's statistics out there about like muscle mass being tied to life expectancy,
Yes.
Mhm.
right? I don't remember the direct numbers, but
lean muscle tissue and your VO2 max
Right.
are the two best predictors of independence as you get older. So if you want to be able to walk up and down the stairs or
Right.
walk around the house or live alone, your VO2 max and your muscle mass will definitely affect that.
so when you're talking about, hey, I'm going running and this is what I do for fitness and I'm a runner and all I do is run, right? You're not doing some of the things that down the line could be really, really important for you as far as just overall general health. And so find something heavy,
Mhm.
pick it up, put it back down.
So that commercial of I pick things up and put them down wasn't that far off, right?
Not at all.
Okay.
So we have a question
Yeah.
if yoga and Pilates is good. I think that's a great question.
Did you want to
Hashtag-
answer it?
Hashtag it depends.
Right. I was gonna say. So the number one thing in the PT world is it depends.
Yeah.
So it also depends because
I think
Both of them-
Pilates is great
Yeah.
because Pilates is a lot more strength than stretching.
correct.
Yoga, there's so many different kinds of yoga. There's strength-based yoga, there's stretchy
Right.
yoga,
There's hot yoga.
there's
I think the hard part is that none of them have enough resistance
Right.
to act as a strength training load on your system.
you should come to Pilates one day.
Well, it's
Oh.
challenging, right? But it's not
Challenge.
enough load.
Right. I mean, I think when complemented like with other
Correct.
Right.
things,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. As long as it's not the sole thing that you're saying,
Right.
this is
Right.
how I'm getting my strength in.
The
Right.
hardest thing that we have with people is just like time management.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, all right, if
How
you're
are
going
you
to
going
do
to
one
spend
thing,
your
Yeah.
time? Right.
we need you to pick up some heavy things and put them back down.
Right.
And again, when I say that to people, oftentimes they get offended. And I'm not trying to knock yoga or Pilates, but it's like saying my kid's a soccer player. How is volleyball for them on their day off? And I'm like, well, I mean, volleyball is great and stuff, but it's not going to help them with soccer.
Right.
You know, it's so we have to look at it like in the context of the discussion. And alone, yeah, they can be great modes of exercise, but
I think it's also like I always say, if you do a lot of yoga, if you do a lot of Pilates, you're probably not getting a ton of benefit from them. If you don't do either of them, you'd probably benefit a lot
right.
from getting into a yoga or a Pilates class. It's the same thing as if all you do is run,
Mhm.
you'd really
Right.
benefit from doing something other than
Yeah.
running.
I think the point is to do different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
Totally.
one thing about Pilates is it's very focused on core strength, and I do think that's important for runners.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
I think that's a good benefit of Pilates.
Yeah.
All right. So before we go to our last myth, I was just curious if you guys have heard about the Incredible Hulk's newest fashion line.
Oh my goodness.
What is it?
It's all the rage.
Wow, these are bad.
oh.
Oh, that was good. Come on.
No, it was not.
Oh,
I'm still waiting for the punchline.
These are really.
Did you get the punchline?
It was so bad.
Did you get it though?
I got it, but it was
Okay.
bad.
All right.
Bad.
Well, okay, Marshmallow Man, give us our.
I'm just gonna
Are
put
there
a
more
fan back
jokes?
on.
None of
I
your
know.
business.
Yeah, I choose the fan. Actually.
Okay, John.
I knew what it was.
You knew what
Some
it
of us did our
was.
homework like 5 minutes before I came here.
You also didn't know that we were doing it this way.
No, but I knew who had what.
All right, John. What's our next myth? Wait, we have a question. Oh, does Ilana need a refill? Yes, I do. Thank you, Ed, for paying
Oh.
attention.
Her fans
Oh,
will
well,
be
he's
up for
not
it.
here.
Oh, he's puffed up again.
Yeah, I've
he's ready to go.
The fan is
The
back.
fan
I've
is
been
back.
talking about it. I've been working out,
That's
you know?
Oh, man.
Okay, John.
Right.
We digress.
The last myth we're going to be discussing, or second to last maybe,
No, that's the
is
oh,
that I
right.
always need to train at my goal race pace.
Yeah.
Ask people,
that's
all
a
right, so
good
tell me
one.
about your long run. All right, well, I do this, and how fast you do. Well, I do the same as my other runs. Okay, so you just your long run is just longer, but you're running at the same pace as your midweek runs. Yeah, exactly. Okay, insert palm into face.
Right. And I think
so-
another way of saying that too is like the only way to get faster is to train faster, which like you do have to run faster at some point, but you
At
shouldn't be
some
running
point.
faster all the
the
time.
time.
Is the
Right.
I think
Yeah.
You also have to earn the right to be able to run faster.
right.
So if you're a beginner or if you're dealing with injury,
It's
or-
gone.
It's
Yeah,
empty.
It's empty.
What's worse, the fan or her slurping?
I don't know. or the jokes.
Right.
Oh, the
So-
jokes are not bad. Continue.
So two of the main reasons why you really need to avoid always running at your goal race pace is one, it's not sustainable. Your body is going to break down. In the 12 years I think I've been doing this or whatever, I've never once seen somebody that always runs at the race pace and has good results from it, meaning they either get injured
Absolutely.
or they start to plateau. It starts to work against them. They get deconditioned and detrained really quickly.
It might work for
Yeah.
a period, but
For a
it's
small
not going to work
Yeah.
for
Long
the
term.
long term.
And everything we talk about with running is a long-term investment. We're not looking at short-term returns. All
Mhm.
right. So the other reason you actually need to run slower than your goal race pace, I really can't do this with the fan on.
I thought it was just me,
Yeah.
but
He's like, oh, I
gotta. So the other reason you need to run slower than you think is because running slowly is actually where you teach your body to get more efficient. At energy sources, but also building your mitochondrial efficiency. And I don't, super really scientific, right? Everybody remembers mitochondria is a powerhouse from the cell, 8th grade bio. Right?
I don't remember.
What?
I don't.
Grade?
I don't remember.
8th grade, no.
Yeah.
So by building, more mitochondria, you actually improve your body's ability to generate energy down the line. So again, a future investment. When you run slower, you're teaching your body to be more efficient, but also build more power sources or energy sources in your muscles. You're creating new blood vessels when you're running for long periods of time, and that pays dividends longer down the road because then you'll eventually be able to run faster. It's very abstract if you're a newer runner, but you need to run slower to actually run faster down the line. So it's not sustainable to always run at your race pace, and your body needs to build efficiency before you can actually get faster.
I think the reason this is such a big myth is people think like, well, how will running slower actually make me faster?
Right.
And the point is that the running slower, part of the reason we run slower, other than what John and Justin already explained, is to also give your body a chance to recover so that you can do a speed workout, let's say, once a week, but you can hit that speed workout really well and then give your body a chance to recover. And so the speed workout is what's going to help you get faster. Running slow is going to help you get faster by allowing your body to properly recover and be able to handle that harder work.
Yeah, exactly. So Justin on Instagram said, right, more batteries, more energy. Yeah, exactly. And so we're training the energy system to be more efficient. And then the way I always term it is once we make you more efficient, you can do whatever you want with that efficiency. So you can choose to go longer, right? And so then you could run a longer distance race or do something longer, or you can choose to run faster because you're going to use that energy over a different period of time. And so once we get you efficient, you can do whatever you want with that efficiency.
Exactly.
But the idea is you're trying to become more efficient over time, not necessarily faster. Faster is what you choose to do once you're already efficient.
So we have an interesting question.
Jeanette,
So Fanny, first of all,
hey Fanny,
we love it. Like you take it nice and easy. When it's time to pick it up, you pick it up. So Jeanette's question is, at what point is a jog a run?
I love this question because they're all arbitrary terms anyway.
Yeah. So in theory, right, a run
About effort
is when you have a float phase. So once you have 2 feet off the ground at the same time, you're running.
Yep.
If you have always 1 foot in contact with the ground, you're walking, which is totally fine. But the idea of the difference between a jog and a run is just whatever you want to call
Everything is effort-based regardless. So whether you're jogging at 80% of your capacity or running at 80% of your capacity, it's still the same thing. It's all energy and effort-based, which dictates what kind of run you're going to be doing and what kind of results and ultimately what kind of stress on your body that you need to recover from.
Yeah. The other thing you started to touch on, which I don't think you went all the way down the path, was how you have to earn the right to run faster.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important point because what we see a lot of times is people start to increase the amount of times they're running per week and how long they're running and how fast they're going.
Yeah.
And once you sort of do all of those things, that's kind of a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
You can explain it better.
Yeah.
All right. So when you run, right, you have different variables, right? We have frequency, we have duration, and we have intensity. You are only allowed to change one variable at a time, right? And so, Kim, I don't know, you didn't know math and no bio. How do we do in physics?
Oh, I didn't even make it to that.
All right.
I can't even believe you asked that.
What's
The only way to run faster is to
I was booted
Anybody?
after chemistry.
we'll give a second. John.
hit the ground harder?
Right. And if you hit the ground harder, the ground does.
Hits you back
Yeah.
harder.
Right. And so if you want to run faster, right?
Tim, go to class.
If you want to run faster, you have to hit the ground harder. The ground's going to hit you back harder. You have to train your body to absorb that force. And so there's more force on your joints. There's more force on your tendons. There's more force on your muscles. And we're trying to get you to be more efficient at absorbing that force by running at a slower pace for longer duration, slowly over time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Frequency, out of all those variables Justin mentioned, it is non-negotiable. frequency always has to be increased first. If you're looking at how to become a faster runner, chances are you should probably start running more frequently rather
Great
than
point.
increasing the intensity on those days.
Agreed.
Because
That's a
you can
great
spread
point.
your mileage out
Yeah.
over more days.
Mhm.
And so you actually have more time practicing, essentially.
And you'll
So-
see the biggest cardiovascular improvements, I think, with just frequency alone.
Yeah.
And we talk like when we've been working on the training plan for the training groups and trying to tweak it and change the one that we've been using, right? When we were sitting down, basically, John and I kept pushing, right? We need more time
More
on feet,
time on
Yeah.
feet. Yeah.
right?
time
Time
on
on feet,
feet.
more time on feet. It can be walking, it can be
Yep.
jogging, if we want to use that term. It can be longer, slow runs, but we're just trying to increase time on feet to increase efficiency, improve resistance to injury, and absorb stress.
Yeah. And George, you're absolutely right. Heart rate zone training is something that we do like to talk about and we like to focus on. And it's a good way to make sure that your easy runs are truly staying easy runs. I don't know if you guys have seen this like TikTok video that's going around. It's like
No, because I'm not on TikTok, thankfully.
Same
Okay.
here.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not either, but it somehow landed on Instagram, which is where I saw it.
Sure.
But anyway, it's basically like every runner knows this, and it's someone running, and every time they break out of their zone 2 heart rate, their watch beeps. And it's literally they
Oh.
take 2 running steps and their watch beeps and they have to walk. And right? Like, but it's how you train in order to make sure to be able to go hard when you need to go hard.
Mhm.
Because if you're not recovering in between those hard sessions, again, you're setting yourself up for disaster.
Yep.
So
I like to tell people, if you look at the food pyramid, the tip of the food pyramid is
is
all
the
like
pizza.
exactly shaped. I mean, coincidence? I think
Yeah,
not.
sure
Like-
I was gonna say Margarita.
Yeah.
Well, in general, the concept of like all the tasty, fun junk food is like encompasses the smallest portion of
Mhm.
everything.
Yes.
When it comes to exercise, this is why I kind of really
You're gonna refer to the speed stuff as fun? Is that where?
well, no. So all the fancy, like sexy, hard workouts, whether it's like weight training or any of the
Oh.
all the stuff that you see on social media,
Mhm.
that's like, I mean, if it's not the boring stuff, that should be considered the smallest percentage of your overall weekly volume.
Right.
Every
Right.
minute that you spend exercising, you should look at it. All the fun, crazy stuff, should really be the smallest overall percentage. We're talking like, for most of us, honestly, no more than 10% per week.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's another way to look at
Yeah.
it.
Totally.
All right. So we do have one bonus myth, which isn't, I mean, I think we can dispel this one pretty quick, but if it's not on Strava, it didn't happen. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's true.
What? You think that's true? Yeah. If it's not on Strava, you didn't do it?
Absolutely. I'm going to be honest with you. If I go out for a run
Oh boy.
and I don't have my watch, I'm probably going home.
Wait, didn't we go over this?
Okay,
before?
but
I
you
thought we
have
went
your
through this
watch.
ahead.
You have your watch, but that doesn't necessarily mean it goes on Strava. That's Garmin.
I just mean I need a record of it or it didn't happen.
Things
Like,
going off script.
Okay, but
Sorry.
Yeah.
but we're talking. I'm not saying like if you don't have your watch,
Right.
it didn't happen. I'm saying like
Strava.
uploading it then and like
Got
letting
it.
other people see what you did
Oh,
and
I
be
don't
able
really
to
care about
comment
that.
on it. Oh, okay. Now
So
she's-
Justin has a good point, right?
Yeah.
So he said training is like drinking.
Mhm.
The higher the intensity or the proof, the less you need to be okay.
Oh,
Right.
nice.
I
like
like that.
To that.
Here's
Justin.
Ilana's empty glass. So
Kyle says he's too lazy to charge his watch, so nothing on Strava.
Oh, wow.
Well, your watch probably just freezes when you go outside in the tundra anyway, so it doesn't matter.
all right. So here's the thing, right? Strava's fine, right?
Mhm.
Garmin's fine. But I think that a lot of what we talk about when we start to talk about moderating the intensity or making sure we're not going too fast, right?
Mhm.
People feel this pressure that what are other people going to think of this run when they see it on Strava?
Oh,
Or
Yeah.
I'd like to
Yeah.
clarify that, like,
right.
Yeah.
Like, oh, no, I'm all
we're
for
going to give him
it.
a second
Yeah.
to backtrack.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, you are
Right.
way off script, my friend.
I would like to clarify.
When,
I was panicking for
when
a
I
I
was just
tell
like,
people, right? When I tell people, I want you to walk for 10 minutes and then I want you to do your workout and then you're going to walk for 5
They
minutes.
don't like
after.
that the pace.
They don't
is-
want that
right.
pace to affect their Strava pace because what if somebody sees it on Strava? What are they
Right.
going to
We
think?
know
It's gonna
who
look
you
like I'm going
are.
slow.
We know who you are.
Right. But it's also, I mean, heck, I've been doing it where I'm like running and I'm kind of like, oh, geez, like this is really like, I'm really, sucking wind today and this isn't going to look good when this gets up there. And so,
Really?
yeah.
Really?
I
So
think
you
it's
guys
a
are
normal-
hearing it. Even just in time, the myth smasher feels this kind of pressure.
Well, but so the thing is, one, right? You don't have to post everything to Strava.
I
Don't be
wouldn't
afraid
even know how to like
His
turn it
name out
off.
loud,
hide-
it
yeah.
gets even better.
Don't be afraid to hide it or delete it. But also now I feel like I actually would prefer that those things go up there so
Yeah.
that it makes more people feel comfortable
Yeah.
with that stuff.
Right.
But I think that's like the one thing I hear from people all the time is like, well, can I do the run and the walk as like a separate workout
Mhm.
so that I can label it
yeah.
as like warm up walk or
Right.
something? And
But
I
what's
think
different? Like, why?
there's a lot
I
of like,
mean,
peer
look
pressure.
at Fanny. She even said, right, like she's been training, but she's not posting because she's got data fatigue, right? Like it's a lot to take in.
It's a lot.
I mean, I'll just point to our Share the Run challenge and the team competitiveness that has come out, which we absolutely love. We want you guys to like do what you want to do, but for some people, you know, it may actually be unmotivating to them.
Right.
And so, you know, in my opinion, it does not have to be on Strava for it to count. I have taken hiatuses from Strava for months at a time, then slowly come back, taken breaks. I think it's fine, whatever you want to do, but
If I guess if it gets in your head, then maybe.
right,
Right.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
Right.
you wrote a blog on this a couple years ago about how
yeah,
like,
Yeah.
the pitfalls of just
Yeah.
trying to like keep up with social media. The
Right.
fitness realm is just it's dangerous.
I sort of challenge people, right? Like when you do this, you can sort of like share that image of your run or whatever, where you like share it. And I think in that blog, like I challenge people, like don't share your pace, right? You
Well,
can share the distance.
yeah.
You could change what data shows up on that little image that exports,
sure.
right?
If you knew how to do that,
Yeah.
you could
Don't
do that.
miss the forest for the trees, Justin
Right,
said.
exactly. And
Yep.
so people,
So
I think,
prolific tonight. Good
Yeah.
job. I
people
like
get
it.
super tied into what other people are going to think when they see, you know, what they did. And the biggest thing I tell people is like, they don't know what your goal is.
Right.
Right.
And so as long as what you're doing pushes you towards your personal goal,
Mm-hmm.
then be proud of it and don't care what other people think. But that's easier said than done sometimes.
Our personal goal when we meet up sometimes Thursday mornings to run is to see how many dogs we can count on our run.
That's exactly
and
what
that's
we do.
That's honestly what goes on Strava. How many dogs we saw that
Which,
morning.
if you've seen these guys count reps in the gym, is a challenge. So
Once
never
we
know.
get past 2, we're like, I'm lost. I
Yeah.
don't know what
Right.
to
Especially
do.
when
Ryan,
You
keeps
saw 9
count.
dogs. You count by 2.
We have a good counter in our group.
Yeah.
So we do. We have someone who's eagle eyes. But so guys, I think that's the time that we have to cover myths. But the Mythbusters are not going anywhere. So if you have some myths that he's blowing up again. You can hear the fan.
What
I'm
gave
like,
that
what,
away?
what is the sound?
I thought it was a car
Um,
outside actually, but it's
You
stopped.
can drop us a comment when you watch this, or if you're on now, let us know. But we have some more myths that we definitely want to cover and dispel. I just want to do a quick programming note because this is now officially a show as far as we're concerned. That's what everybody's calling it, Margarita Monday.
That's right.
I just want to let you guys know that we are going to be on hiatus next week. Because it's President's Day weekend. We expect it to be extremely busy at the store. We hope to see all of you here shopping. We will be back the following week on February 26th. Kim is going to be out of town, so I'll be without my awesome co-host, but I will still be on, and I'll be joined by some very special guests. So I hope you guys will join us, and
It's going to be a good one.
you'll learn more about who they are, obviously, as we get closer.
Who's going to set up the Facebook Live?
Well, I am.
Who's
so
going to make the margaritas?
I'm proficient at it.
He's gonna be here.
Ed's still
Oh,
around.
Ed's still going to be here.
Yeah.
All
Kim's
right.
out of town, but the
Ed's out.
bartender is still here.
All right. I'm
So,
good. I was worried about you.
oh, thank you.
Okay.
Speaking of, I could use another one. Anyway,
I don't think so.
Oh, be
So-
careful.
Yeah, it's a matter of opinion.
I know that is problematic. So, from all of us, your Mythbusters, to all of you, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you
Enjoy.
soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.